Today we're gonna make seared shrimp with tomato, lime, and avocado. And it's the kind of dish you eat when you don't feel like eating a big, heavy meal. It's light, refreshing, and satisfying. We're gonna start with our vegetables. I've got a pound of tomatoes here that you want to core and then cut into 1/2-inch pieces. So I'm gonna cut the tomato in half, and then I'm gonna make a couple horizontal cuts. You can also use a serrated knife if that's what you have. What matters is that your knife is sharp. And then I'm gonna repeat with the rest. And this recipe is great on its own, but it's also really good with tortillas. Or you could serve it over rice, or tortilla chips, or as I said, by itself. And coring the tomato is good just to get that fibrous little top. Sometimes it runs into the center, but it's just a little tougher than the rest of the tomato. All right, so I'm gonna add the tomatoes to this bowl. And in my opinion, best time of year is summer. And it's not because it's warm and you can do fun things outside with your family or friends, but it's because it's when you get the best tomatoes ever at the market, in your garden, in your neighbor's garden. Got some scallions. And you're gonna use the scallions 2 different ways. You're gonna use the whites in one way with the tomatoes, and then the greens are going to be part of the garnish. So separate them first before you cut them. And now I'm just gonna slice the scallion greens. It's gonna give it that really nice, subtle onion flavor. And just, it's beautiful. You can't go wrong with anything green, let alone scallion greens. So I'm gonna put this in a separate bowl because again, they're gonna be for the garnish. And I'm also going to slice the scallion whites thinly. And that, I always leave the root intact just because it keeps everything from flying around too much. And then you can bunch them together and run your knife through them. All right. Keep on plugging away here. We're also going to use some cilantro. You're gonna need about 1/4 cup of minced cilantro. And just put it up in a little bunch, a nice taut bunch, and run your knife through here. Again, with herbs, you don't want it to be wet or damp when you're chopping them because it just gets, sort of black and muddy and less beautiful to look at. Transfer that to our tomato bowl. Garlic, we're gonna need 3 cloves of garlic. I feel like most of my recipes that I cook always have onion, always have garlic. It's like no matter what, it's my go-to. I'm just gonna use this garlic press and mince the garlic right into the bowl with the vegetables. And using the garlic press just ensures that you have little bits of garlic and not big bites. Just also so that they're even in size, they'll cook at the same rate. Now we're gonna add a little bit of smokiness, a little bit of heat. These are canned chipotle in adobo sauce. These will definitely say hello to you. So if you have people that are adverse to spice, might wanna either use a little bit less or omit them from the recipe. But I'm actually gonna add a little bit extra because I like it spicy. Add that right to the bowl. And I'm gonna go rinse my hands off. Okay, now I'm gonna cut my avocado. We're gonna need 1/2-inch pieces. So just gonna split the avocado in half, or half-ish, and take the seed out. Now, depending on the ripeness of the avocado, you can peel the skin back. It's not always the cleanest way to do it, but I am gonna do that right now because this is a perfectly ripe avocado. Other times you can just use a big, serving spoon and run the spoon between the peel and the avocado, and it will kind of just pop right out. So similar to the tomatoes, I'm just gonna cut it horizontally. Repeat that. And 1/2-inch pieces. Now, if you were gonna make this ahead of time and you didn't want your avocados to oxidize, you can put a little bit of lime juice on them just to make sure they don't turn brown. I wouldn't do it too far in advance, just for that reason. Plus, it's such a fresh dish. And lastly, we need some lime wedges and we need some lime juice. So first I'm gonna cut my lime wedges. This is one of the citrus juicers. So you just put all the little wedges in there and let the citrus juicer do the work. And what's best is that you don't have to go fishing for seeds. All right, I need to clean up and I'm gonna go grab my shrimp. Let's talk about shrimp sizes. So if you've been to the grocery store and you bought shrimp, you're gonna see that oftentimes there's a number on the bag. These are what's called 2125s. They are extra large shrimp, but sometimes in different stores, jumbo and extra large don't always mean the same thing. You wanna focus on the number on the bag. 21-25 means there's 21 to 25 shrimp per pound. This is another example. These are a little bit bigger. They are 1620s. So if you see there, 2 pounds, 16 to 20 shrimp per pound. All right, so I'm gonna season them with some salt and pepper. I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of each. And just give them a little toss. And these are extra large shrimp that I peeled and deveined. All right, time to sear our shrimp, and we are a few minutes away from our delicious meal. Okay, I'm gonna heat up my skillet. I wanna put that over medium-high heat. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil, and I'm gonna let this heat up until just smoking. Okay, the oil is just smoking. I'm gonna add the shrimp now. Again, we're doing half at a time, and you wanna cook it for about a minute until there's a little bit of browning and the bottom of the shrimp are turning pink. Using some tongs, I'm gonna flip the shrimp right now and cook for an additional 30 seconds. And you wanna cook the shrimp until all but the centers are opaque. Oh, those look good. All right, I'm gonna transfer this batch to a plate. Now the shrimp aren't fully cooked at this point. They're gonna finish in a little bit. And I'm gonna repeat with a little bit more oil and the second half of the shrimp. Now, we're gonna cook that tomato mixture from earlier. And I'm gonna add that lime juice and 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm gonna cook this for just about 1 minute until the tomatoes have slightly softened. It's just waking up everything right now. You're just wanting to bloom the garlic, cook that chipotle just a little bit. So now I'm gonna add the shrimp, and they're gonna be in there for about 1 minute until the shrimp are cooked through. You're essentially warming everything together at this point. Okay, we are done. So now I'm just gonna transfer this pan of beauty and deliciousness to this shallow bowl. You could use a platter or two. And the finishing touch, the avocado from earlier, and the scallion greens. And what did that take? Maybe 15 minutes? So it's like an express train kind of recipe. I need to taste this. It's calling my name. Those shrimp are perfectly cooked. These are tender, juicy, they're plump. And you get a little heat in that sauce from the chipotle, but it's so well seasoned, and the lime juice and this buttery avocado. You can't go wrong with this combination of ingredients. This recipe is refreshingly light, but totally satisfying.